Okay, hello everyone, welcome to the live stream. My name is Dimitri, I'm a community manager here at Top Drive. Let's start with you guys. Let me know if you can see me and hear me well. Welcome everyone to the live stream. I'm just pulling up all the chats and things like that, all the sections for me. People on Facebook, people on on YouTube, people on Twitch. Happy Friday. I hope you had a great week, and I'm wishing you a great weekend as well. I'm gonna start saying hi's to everyone. Hi Scorpion Death Drop. Hi Massimo. Hi Boniken. Hi Welsh Boy UK76. Nice to see you again. Hi Silver MV6. Hi, Nick, who's our hi, Automotive Gaming Experience. Hi, hi guys. And on Facebook we've got Robert, we've got Gustav, we've got Michael, Willie, we've got many people in here. I'm not going to be playing the game too much today, I think, because I wanted to talk about the thing that that was asked from me on the last week's live stream, which is the open letter to Hutch that was sent to us a few months back, to which we never sort of responded officially and openly, but as I mentioned previously, we did have a look at it. And this is something, that I felt like I've spent about 10 minutes talking about last time, so it's probably worth bringing it up again and maybe give you guys a little bit of a clarity on this. Other than that, we have a little bit of a small update on the forums from our game director Robin about basically what we will be working on in the next couple of weeks and months, and I'll guide you through that as well a little bit. And that will probably mainly it. I don't want to play too much today, but I mainly want to talk about these two things: so the open letter and our plans for the future. I'm streaming from my bedroom as usual, and it's nice in here. One thing I wanted to bring up actually and show you guys is this the Mercedes SLS GT3 Tri-Series are running right now, the finals, and obviously we had a bit of a small problem with the image last time, but we've changed it, so I think it looks really good right now. So let me just bring it up. It should be somewhere here. Yeah, so basically what happened was we've had this image that was for the wrong car, obviously, and we changed it to something else. Okay, let me make it a little bit smaller. So what do you think, guys? I think it looks pretty good. I think it's really nice. So this is not actually a photo, so it's a render. As you can see, it's really nice quality, and we kind of talk about it a little bit in the forum message that Robin posted today, that we are looking at new 3D environments, we're looking at new 3D cars, and for the design of our cards in the game, we are also potentially looking at these renders that they just give us a lot of flexibility in terms of in terms of what we can use, because finding photos for these cars is not always very easy. But yes, at least it's the correct car, which there was definitely a confusion, because we've produced the image for the different GT3, which was not an SLS. It was just the AMG GT3, which is a newer version, and we all only realized it much later. So thanks everyone who showed this to us. Also, I wanted to give you a quick update about the giveaway that we're on social media this week. So we've chosen 5 winners, and the giveaway is now over. So thank you very much everyone who joined it. We are absolutely looking forward to having more of these in the future. But we have chosen 5 winners, and I have got in touch with them via email. So I can't really remember. I think only three people answered to me. So I would just in case check your inboxes to check whether you have an email from me about all of this. So Dolphin Gaming, thank you. I'm very good today, thank you. It's obviously Friday, so always happy about this. But I'm gonna give maybe a couple more seconds for people to join, and then we're gonna go straight into the open letter and responses that we have. So I'm just gonna open up my document with the responses that we've had. So basically, the way it happened previously was that we've received this letter from you guys, but we never properly addressed it. Let me just pull it up on my screen. Okay, there we go. So and I wanted to talk about it because, yeah, as I said, we haven't addressed it before, and obviously there's been quite a lot of discussion around this, and it's something that we felt was important, and we had a go at responding to it, but we just felt that our answers wouldn't be exactly satisfactory to all of you at that point in time, and we were afraid that responding in a way that we wanted would raise even more questions, and that it would just be an endless discussion about the things that sometimes were not exactly true, and some things were obviously important, but there were 10 points in this letter, and I want to talk about each of them. I'm going to have a look at the questions in the chat. So Automotive Game Experience asking, would it be possible to have a test center or something similar where we can test any of our cars? Yeah, so this has been asked quite a few times. There's definitely nothing in the works right now for this. I've gauged some interest from the team, and yeah, I mean, we were asked about this quite a lot, but I don't think anything. I very much doubt anything like this would be coming this year at least, and. Well, I like this idea, and I think there's a lot of value in this. I'm just not sure. I don't have any sort of feedback from the team on this. By the way, guys, since it's a Top Drives and Coffee live stream, I hope you have a good cuppa with you as well, like I do. But let's get into it really. Let's get into this letter. So I'm not going to be reading the whole thing. I'm just gonna try to focus on some of the points. I hope you guys can see this. By the way, let me just expand this a little bit more on the screen so you can see a little bit better. Yeah, that should be fine for now. So I'll start reading it. So this letter was sent to me via email by one of our players, and it was as such. So as you can see, we wrote this letter to you in a consensual way among a large group of Top Drives players who in many cases have been playing Top Drives for years, who love this game, spending a lot of money on it, and we have supported this game for many years, but that during last months we feel terribly disappointed. Just to make it clear, this was sent in September, and last month it means August of 2020. So that is when we released PL12, the European Revolution, and there were obviously some issues with that. There were a few bugs with it, and something that it wasn't the cleanest release by far. We absolutely understand this and accept this, and we were disappointed at how it all went. But after a series of bug fixes, I think we came to a good place where the game became very stable and still works well, and PL13 obviously was fairly clean as well, so we didn't have any very significant issues like we did with PL12. So happy about that at least. So we feel disappointed because we see how every day Hutch takes less account of the players' community. Every day we receive a lower quality service from help desk. And ultimately we have an impression that the only objective that Hutch is demonstrating to pursue in recent months is to maximize his profit, totally forgetting about us, the players, who in the end are the ones who support the game. We believe that even Hutch, if you're monitoring the game forums or Facebook forums, have detected a large number of old players, many of them after spending large amounts of money, who are leaving the game disappointed. So recently launched PL12 update has been terribly disappointing, with numerous errors, bug fixes, and bugs, which I've just mentioned. and players obviously decided to put together this letter for all of us. So the point 1 talks about PL updates. We have a clear feeling that with each update, cars from previous PLs are deliberately killed, often unjustifiably and unrealistically, to push the game and community to buy new packs. So we do have a response to this. I have it actually in front of me, which is as such. I'll read it out for you. It is regarding the cars being deliberately killed with the new PL update. That's not the case, as we source car corrections from community members who spend their own time researching and suggesting said corrections. To make it completely clear, the decision to change car stats is not driven by design. It's driven by community feedback completely. Our ultimate aim is to achieve authenticity of the cars included in the game. So if there are cases where a car gets nerfed, this is to be in line with its real-life counterpart. That said, we recognize that our system for determining car height might be limited. So we're looking at ways to have a more accurate ground clearance in game, and we have several ideas in mind, but we can't promise anything at this point. So so I'll just expand on this a little bit. There haven't been actually that many there have been quite a few changes in PL13 as well, but to make it completely clear, these are not driven by game design at any point. So there is absolutely no consideration in terms of game design when we make these changes. Every single change comes from car correction team, and they dictate what needs to be changing at all times. There's absolutely zero consideration in terms of design for this. All changes are made based on whatever findings these guys have for us, and we see in which updates we can introduce those and in which updates we cannot introduce those changes. So there's absolutely no design decisions here. And I'm not going to be reading the whole, all of the questions, of course, because it is going to be a little bit difficult. So this is number one thing I wanted to make it absolutely clear, and it is not, we completely understand what we're doing, and there's always a lot of discussion in terms of these cars are changing, need to change. How much of an impact is it going to have on the game and on the community? So there's always consideration for that, but we just have to act. If when we make mistakes as well, and we have over 2,000 cars in game, and each car has a dozen of various stats, which if one goes wrong, it is noticeable. So we appreciate that it can happen, and we obviously are not happy when that happens, but it will happen. And but I want to just make absolutely clear: there's no design in here. We're not making those changes and sitting there and thinking, how many packs you guys gonna buy just based on that. This is not the case, and it's never been. And it's purely based on what the correction guys are saying to us. I'll have a look at the comments as well for a second. That was the first point. Yes, quite a few comments coming in, especially on Facebook. Hi, my time. I'm very good, thank you, and it's going great. I think we're going to have a very nice chat today. So let me go back to the points. I'm gonna keep going through these because we don't actually have that much time, and there's quite a few to go through. Next point is about car rarity change. Inside our community, car level increases are revisions and have always been a point of controversy, especially when a car goes from epic to legendary due to extreme cost that involves improving a legendary car. This definitely is related to number one, but again, it is essential that we do these changes. And sometimes we do hold them back, as is mentioned in this slide as well, about the Kidorim Superlight, which went from RQ70 to AZ2 but remained as epic. So from my recollection, in PL12 and PL13 there was only one car in each of the updates that went from epic to legendary, I can't remember what was in the PL12, but in PL13 it was the Peugeot the four-wheel drive. Hybrid R, I think it's called. That went to legendary, but it had to. That's the thing. Sometimes when the stats change so much, they increase so much that there is no way around it. We have to change the number. We have to change the rarity. Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense. We do have we always take consideration when it comes to that. I think there are usually 5 to 10 cars each update that would potentially have a significant rarity change, and we always look individually at each of those cars and decide whether we want to proceed or not. And with the PL13, it was only one car, so with the cars go down as well in rarity, so which is obviously not something that people enjoy as well. It kind of works both ways. On one side you're making upgrades much cheaper for a car that goes from epic to legendary, and the other way around. If it goes from legendary to epic, you're obviously losing some of that value that you've put in the upgrades. But sometimes there's just no way around it. The cars become too powerful. They need to change the rarity. But we always look at that, and we hope you do appreciate that as well. The fact that we are trying our best to make sure that there's as little impact as possible, because we absolutely understand everything, and it's not our intention to ruin the game for you in any way possible. Hi, Rick Tyndall. So I think, if I recall you correctly, was this was it about the collision report that you've done? I think I have responded to your support ticket today, if I'm not mistaken. So please have a look at that. I've had a look at it, there's not much I can say to you apart from what I've said there, but at least it's something, I suppose. Stefano Infinity, make a historic update or new challenges on the history. I like the idea with the historic cars, but we do add quite a few historic cars in each update, so I guess it more depends on the brand whether it has many historic cars or not. So I kind of like that idea though. Okay, Welsh boy, that's good. I have a couple of black tea and obviously with some milk. Why is there a problem with the certificate on the Hutch game page? I'm not sure what is going on there. I know we have a bit of a problem with that on the forums, which is forums at vanilla forums at Hutch forums.hutch.io. But I'm not sure about the website. If there's a problem, we definitely should have a look at it. Let's move on to the third question. Duplicated car swaps. This is now tremendously sticking point. The players community is aware of the help desk making duplicate legendary car swaps for certain players but denying swap to others. And this aspect has been confirmed by the help desks in the negative responses to certain players. The problem with this I have is there's this word, we demand. It's slightly unreasonable to demand these sort of things because, support have to work with they have their own considerations for what they believe is worth doing or not, and that relates to car swaps as well. With that in mind, I have a small answer, which is as such. While we do not have an official policy to swap duplicate legendary cars, our customer support team responds to such requests on a case-by-case basis, reviewing all of the information they have before making any decisions. There is no specific trend here, but we do try to assist players where we can. And I would add to that this has been a point of discussion for the team as well for quite some time. What are we going to do with the duplicate cars? And at the moment, there is nothing that we can offer. There just isn't anything right now. I don't think we've been actually talking about it a lot for in the past couple of months. It was right after this open letter back in sort of September and October 2020 when we talked about it the most within the team. But it's a bit different now. It's not. It hasn't been brought up as much. The sort of answer is, of course, that support will look at it at a case-by-case basis, and it's not like we do try to give our goal is to give the same level of customer support to every single player. So while there might be different answers that you might be getting from support, they usually look at at how this at what has been done before with duplicate car swaps. Personally, I haven't been involved with that too much because I'm not obviously part of customer support, but I know that this is sort of a tricky thing for them. Obviously, we cannot swap every single car every single duplicate that you might have, but on a case by case basis, they're still doing it from what I remember, and this is unlikely to change anytime soon. So we aren't really working on any sort of policy change in that area or any feature or tech related to that right now. So yeah, I mean there are different things we thought about when it comes to duplicate cars, but we haven't really come to any sort of conclusion right now. So I would say this is not the most hot issue for us right now to address. Although I appreciate this might not be exactly what you want to hear, but this is how it is. Next, number 4. Obvious errors in car stats. We understand that it can happen, we understand that it is Hutch's will to solve them, but from the gaming community we do not understand that, as happened in recent cases like the Bentley Continental GT3, which appeared as a 4-seater. And this error persisted for months in numerous events that have been designed. So there's, yes, absolutely. Bentley Continental GT3 was wrong for quite a few months. It was fixed in, I think it was PL12. I have a pre-written answer to this as well, really. I mean, but the main point here is we do not have always the opportunity to fix things immediately. We can only introduce changes to car stats periodically. The reason is they always come as part of a bigger update to pretty much all cars that we have. So the way the tech really works is that you have to once you make a change, you have to upload the whole thing basically for all the cars, and so we cannot really do those individually, these 10 changes. So due to design of our systems, we're unable to make changes on the go, as the process requires us to run the simulation for all cars. Thus, we are only able to perform the corrections with big updates, as I said. It is that is one part of it, but at the same time, I still really appreciate the fact that it was wrong. The car was wrong for a long time, and while we did address it, we certainly could have done a better job at that. So, but we work with the sort of tech design constraints that we have as well. So, but we appreciate the disappointment that you might have had because of that. But to add to this, with regards to events, I've talked about it before, but it's important to remember that the main rule of thumb when we design events is that we aim to utilize the cars according to the stats they have in game rather than in real life, which means that we are aware of all the cars that we have in the game, and our game designer takes certain care when designing events, so he knows that this car might be wrong, but it is still sort of reasonably, it's still usable. So he designs events not based around their real world stats, but rather on how the stats are in game already. So this is just to make it a little bit more clear on that. And we definitely still appreciate the fact that it was this particular car, at least it was wrong for a long time, and it's something that would not always want to happen. We want maximum authenticity in the game. So yeah, there is that. Let's go to point 5. Hierarchies. It doesn't make sense, especially in niche brands, that the hierarchy of cars is not respected. Some examples of this would be the Chevrolet Corvette Z06 can be better than the Z06 Lingerfelter powered version. And in the opinion of the community, care must be taken to respect that the special, enhanced, and improved versions of the same model are not always worse than the base versions. Are not worse than the base versions. It is not realistic. We do care about hierarchies, and this has been reflected in the latest update, which at that time was PL12, as we fixed hierarchies for many of our car lineups. And I do remember there were quite a few changes. Again, thanks to our car corrections team. For this great work, and we will obviously continue to work on the car corrections to ensure accurate hierarchies. What's up, Oscar Tron? Yeah, so thank you very much, guys, for reminding me about the pricing issues. I will definitely have a look at it. Because I forgot about it, so I will have to bring it next time for the next live stream. Let me have a look at some of the Facebook comments, because there are so Josh S just hopped in, asked about duplicate legends. Yeah, so my answer was we do not have any solution for this at the moment, unfortunately. This is something we are aware of, and look at potential, solutions and our options, whether we want to address it, and if yes, in which way. Nothing to share with you at the moment. Would it be possible? So Rich Shal on Facebook is asking, would it be possible to add show descriptions to the back of the cards, like the first series? I will ping the team about this. I think Johnny, who Hutch Johnny, who goes on our live streams and runs the Top Drives prize car showcases quite often, would probably know more about this, because I would imagine it would be him who made those for some reason. I don't know. It was done way before my time here at Hutch, but I would imagine it was him. So I'm actually going to ask him about this, what's going on with those. Yep, so let's go to the next point, which talked about race cars. So this is the one I actually don't really have an answer to. It talks about race cars. I don't really have an answer to this because I can't even remember why, but I think it's just too difficult to really understand what was the whole point of having this this sort of race. Oh yeah, of course, because of the performance of these cars in the game. Yes. Yeah, I don't really have much to share about this, so I'll probably go to the next point, which is number 7, and I'll make a note to research race cars next time. Off-road tires. The community has pointed out on many occasions that the implementation of off-road tires is not correct at all. Off-road tires are used in the world of rallying on dirt, snow and sand or gravel surfaces, but not on asphalt, where semi-slick tires are used. This is why from the community we propose that as off-road tires give a great advantage on off-road tracks, they should penalize performance when used on asphalt tracks. And the answer is, the stats on the card are the performance you can expect. Therefore, on the card we list the stats you can expect for dry asphalt performance. This is why tires can affect the handling assigned to a car, to take that into account. If cars need correcting because they don't perform as they should, example, a car shouldn't perform that well on dry asphalt, we handle it through corrections, not through changing what the stats represent. So this is another important point. It looks like I'm losing my my voice again. I need to practice a little bit more. This is pretty much as it says. The stats on the card is what you can expect. We want to make sure that we have same stats on the cars for each car, and you can easily check stats for each car on the go, so you don't have to look how is this card doing? How is this card with these stars is doing here? And then you're sort of struggling because on the other tracks it might not be doing so well, and you wanna have everything in one sort of place, in one format. So we always use the performance on dry asphalt as a sort of a benchmark. Next point I wanted to address a bit more, which is obviously the drop rates, and this, as it is, obviously this is the most conflictive and delicate point, and the community is aware of the debate in our society, and even that there are various legal initiatives in the UK in the EU and UK to regulate this aspect. So, without really going into too much detail, we never, I've said it several times on several occasions, but we never mess with our drop rates. So they always stay consistent. They've never changed. They are publicly available in the FAQs, and we never change them. So we understand that there's different probabilities for how often certain cars can drop to you, and we often get complaints even from seasoned players saying that their friend, for example, has been getting like 3 legendaries in 2 weeks, or maybe 5 legendaries in 2 weeks, and they've been playing for 2 months now and haven't had a single legendary. We also sometimes get asked whether we can manipulate drop rates for individual players, which is definitely the case. We can only, if we were to change drop rates, they would change for all card packs, and we cannot do that for individual players. We are considering adding a pop-up displaying drop rates when looking at the packs in the game to make it clearer which cards you can get. There's also a point about guaranteed drop rates here, right here. We believe it's not a viable solution at all, because guaranteed drop rates would not create even there's no guarantee that this would not create even more rift between players, because there are players that regularly invest in buying packs, and they, in this case, with guaranteed drop rates, they would have even better chances of getting the higher rarity tier cars. So this is just not a suitable solution really here. But I mean, there's not much to say, because there's just that we do not manipulate drop rates at all, and they always stay the same. There are chances where there are times when you will have a little bit better drops, and times when they will not be as good. And unfortunately, this is how it is. So JGM Urbansus is asking, is there going to be a Lunar New Year challenge after this challenge ends? So there is no news on that. We are planning to bring an update to our challenges soon, and you should be able to read more about this in the forum thread, which I will send to you, to the chat, in a second. So this thread talks about cars. It talks about the next sort of update and our plans for a small update about what we're doing as a team right now, and it also mentions that there will be no lunar event as of right now. We're more looking at the end of the month, so we need to bring the next update before we can run that. Pedro, I understand your frustration, but this is what it is really. I think I've tried to answer the questions that you've had and all the points. I think many of these things are reasonable, so I'm not entirely sure what exactly is a problem, apart from maybe duplicates is something I haven't been able to address properly, but everything else has its explanation. So it is what it is. Let's go into the next question. So we've finished with drop rates. So we're gonna go to rewards. From the community, we see how during the last month, the quality of the rewards has been progressively reduced. As an example, qualifiers and prelims used to have an epic cars, the price for tier 1. Currently, there is only occasionally an epic prize in qualifiers, but never in prelims. We vary rewards for the Tri-Series on a regular basis. However, there is no trend towards making the prize worse, only more balanced. All cars that we use as rewards for the prelims and qualifiers are chosen carefully to ensure that they can be useful in the Tri-Series final. So there's, as it says, there's not really a downward trend. Although there might seem like there is one. We're only trying to achieve balance, but we're still making sure that the cars you win in those qualifiers and prelims are still useful in the finals, which has been the case in the past Tri-Series. Oscar Tron is asking, is there any talk to expand campaign in the future? So I've talked about having new maps in the campaign, and I've passed this to the team. There's nothing yet to share with you, sadly, but I'm not sure if there are too many changes coming to campaigns this year, as this year we're definitely more focused on the new challenges, more single player content, new UI, 3D models, and just generally better user experience, sort of shaping the current top drives into basically top drives 2 without having to create a new game from scratch. Yes. So, last point. Time zones. The gaming community is varied and will have commitments for any time of the day and night, but event rankings are heavily related to being active at the relatively small portion of the final minutes of 2 3-day events. So we really understand that this is a problem for some players, and I've joined Hutch in May last year. And I think this has been literally the very first thing that I had to respond to on the forums when I joined the forums as well. Having at that time, a little idea of what people were talking about, and then I realized that people, have to obviously sometimes go to bed or wake up very, very early to be able to take part in the events, just because those last few minutes are so important and so essential to winning. And we recognize these difficulties. It's been brought up multiple times in our discussions, and we looked at different options. Nothing to share right now, but I'm keeping that in mind for the future, so that we think about it. But sadly, I don't have anything to share at this point on this, but. Yes, we recognize it is a difficult discussion. So there are no easy answers on some of these questions, and I would love to be able to say to you everything that you want to hear, but there are just things that are not exactly doable right now, or something that we just can't address right now, and I have to be completely direct with you on that, and obviously I understand your frustration. But it is what it is right now. So, I hope this was at least to a certain extent helpful. Obviously, as I said, not everything I was able to respond to. I think there are a couple of things that I had a decent response to, but perhaps not everything, especially when it comes to time zones and duplicate cars. So one thing I can say for sure is that everything you guys are saying to us, we hear, and we have weekly meetings where we share these things. We see trends in the customer support, we send the surveys, which occasionally, which you might have seen. There's sometimes only one question in there, but actually it is super important for us to understand how do you feel about the game at that point in time. Plus, you have all the you are able to leave comments in there, and we have a member of the team who goes through all the comments that you put in there and creates a list of sort of percentages of what has been mentioned the most, and we try to look at these things objectively, and that's why these surveys are important. So there are a million things that are bothering you, and we appreciate that, and we try to focus on those things that we feel are the most important right now for you. And as I said, it's certainly that there are quite often no easy answers. This is why one of the reasons why I was finding it very difficult to respond to this open letter previously at the very beginning when it was sent, because it's just going to be the same. The response would have been exactly the same, so it wouldn't differ all that much from what I told you about now. Will there be any more events similar to the one we've had at Christmas with loads of prize tiers? I would say keep your eye on the events panel. I would say there will be a bit of a maybe not, if not slow down, but maybe not nothing new too exciting until we roll out the next smaller update. It's not on the big PL update, but a smaller update as probably 13.1. But then there will be some interesting stuff coming with the challenges, and then the next few months after that there will be more and more cool stuff coming to top drives very soon. And Year of the Ox, no, nothing at the moment yet, guys. And as I was saying, we have to wait until the next minor update until we can share more information about Year of the Ox. But I'm not even sure if it's exactly going to be this exact name, but there will be something. There will be something probably closer to the end of the year. Thank you, my time. Thank you for joining. Hi Dmitry, have you ever considered allowing players to create custom tags for their cars? I reckon this would facilitate garage navigation during an event. No, I don't think we have ever considered that, because we have specific goal for these tags. It is to be able to group cars into specific groups, so that we can run various events using those groups. So while I mean they're more like for external, like 70% external use, internal use, 30% external use. So we just need to be able to prepare different events using those car groups, and without that these groups, these custom tags, they will be quite useless, I would say. But it's an interesting idea, though. I just can't imagine how you could use that within the game on your own. I think it would be a little bit difficult. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you very much. I'm trying to look through the Facebook comments as well to see if there are any questions that I might have missed that were interesting. Although all questions from you guys are very interesting. Car trading, yeah, I mean there's quite a few difficulties. I think if you go back to, I would say October Q&A, we talked about card trading, but the general consensus was that it's very, very difficult to implement. Chances are you have to build a game around card trading, and then and not just include it into the game. But although it's a great and really cool idea, it's probably going to be very difficult to implement. Will there be a whole map revamp on the game? So we have plans to revamp every single map environment rather. From what I remember, and I have seen some early designs, and on ones that you have probably seen yourself in the ads on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna look epic, and there are so many things we're working towards, from UI design, user interface, and then user experience, plus the new environments, 3D models for the cars, potentially even sounds for each of the cars, and hopefully combined together, all these new features will be even cooler than just on their own. So there's definitely a lot to look forward to in the coming months in this game. And I'm not even talking about the challenges and flexible criteria that we're bringing. That's going to be completely new experience for all of you. I think if you go back to the forum thread, actually I might be able to pull it up right now on your screen, onto the screen, so we can have a look at it, to add it together. Let me do just that, actually. I think this is a good idea. So we have a little bit of time left, so I just wanted to do it now. Keep coming with the questions, guys, while I'm being slow with opening everything as usual. There we go. Just need to find a window. I'm actually running out of tea at this point. There we go. Let me just make it a little bit nicer on the screen, move it to the middle. But this is an update from Robin, our game designer. Thank you very much, Robin, for this. Highly appreciate it. And let me just trim a couple of bits from here so that it doesn't block the view. So it actually blocks the view, in fact. And then from the left, we're gonna cut off another 500. There we go, maybe even 700. And let's put it here. So the update is as such. As we start the new lunar year, I thought I'd offer a little update on the development process. This is not a feature announcement, more a little unedited dev diary insight into the week-to-week of the team. As you might have seen, no Lunar Year events or challenges have been announced yet. We certainly want to keep running more single-player challenges, but we're also developing the features that allow us to sustainably run challenges, run multiple challenges, and features that allow for relationships between different challenges. So, as it says, heavy focus on challenges this year, single-player content, more of that. We've talked about it. Is returning point of discussion for us. So we talk about it all the time. And you guys have let us know that single player is super important, and we see a lot of engagement in those individual challenges as well as collection series. So we are working on that. And specifically, let's talk about flexibility. Flexible criterion events was tested by the team recently. So this is, yes, we've had a team test last week with it's honestly, if you've been playing that top drives for a while, you'll be mind blown by how it works. There are so many different criteria you can have, and they just make everything feel really, really special. And although they're a little bit confusing in the beginning, because you can have so many different things, but over time you'll definitely enjoy that, guys. I'm very, very happy about them, and the team were very excited to have a first go at them. We're not releasing this quite yet. We want to ship the challenges content first, something I've mentioned. So flexible criteria will come after new challenges content, which is aimed at sort of end of this month, or it might change. Of course, dates might move, but this is something we're looking at right now. And then we'll bring flexible criteria later in the year. There's a lot in there, of course. There's server-side card pack delivery, which unlocks the power of the feature, because you want to have all these different flexible criteria, and if you want to have packs to go with them, obviously you have these packs to be fairly custom for each of the flexible criteria, because you don't want to give packs, you don't want to offer packs just covering one sort of aspect of those criteria. You want them to cover everything. We have plans to try different challenge formats. There are a few interesting developments. Characters are gone. Tickets, now called attempts, will restore daily all at once, and it is only after 3 stars that rewards are rewarded and attempts deducted. Essentially, we're removing the punishment, failure, and experimentation mirrored in other collection-based games approaches. These other collection-driven games have explored a lot more variation in the single-player experience that we have, and it's now time to delve deep into the ideas we have here. So this is again very, very I know something that you guys probably haven't heard about before, but I'm looking forward. By the way, I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to put the link in the chat once again, so you guys can all have a look at it in your spare time. There we go. Now I'm gonna come back. So, new challenges, focus. After that, we are moving on to interface and experience. Well, at the same time, we're moving on to interface and user experience. The new darker polished user interface is coming along well. This will likely to be released in batches of screens. It mentions the message mentions that it's going to roll out to newer users first, very likely as part of the sort of testing process. But absolutely looking forward to having for all of our players to have a look at that. At those, I have seen a few screenshots here and there. It's looking so fresh and nice. I just can't wait. And then obviously there's with the new UX and UI comes support for all the new challenges and all the other systems that we want to have in the game. So we want to bring them all at the same time. So basically, top drives will be to a certain extent unrecognizable by the end of this year, hopefully. And I'm not going to be stopping on this too much. Final point, you can have a read on the forums, but the final point is about scaling up our 3D production process for the new style of racing environment. And this is going well. Like I mentioned, again, probably offer to newer users first. We don't want to give an inconsistent experience, so that we want to roll out those changes to all of our maps or environments. But it might be the case that they go one by one. We're also adding 3D models in the game, and as I've heard, there might be some sounds coming as mentioned, but the 3D models are really, really cool. And we only have like 14 in the game right now, and we might have hundreds potentially, and they will definitely add to the fidelity. The screenshots I've seen where these 3D environments are combined with new 3D models, the updated environments are combined with 3D models, look amazing. They look insane, and just it's almost like a movie. You want to watch it, especially the rally bits. And we are evolving to top drives into top drives 2 rather than building a new game. So I would, if I was you, I would guys have a look at this in your spare time. I've sent the link a couple of times, and I think this is time to wrap it up. I'm going to look at the YouTube questions a couple more times. I think there were quite a few since I've last looked. Yes, car sounds would be great. Not many promise. I think it's one of those things that have been discussed the least, but there needs to be a proof of concept for that. Yep. So Rick, I'll have a look at the response on in support. Yeah, I'm excited as well. I'm really looking forward to it. It's something that is very, it looks super cool, and I think this year is where we're gonna see some really significant changes to the game, plus all the single player content that you guys really want to see. A slider in the garage. Can Hutch focus on slider in the garage just to be easier to scroll over cars? I'm sure this is somewhere in the backlog with the, I'm not sure if this is a part of the new UX, but I think it's a good idea actually. So for now, I'm actually going to wrap up because I need to head into another meeting very soon. But thank you very much, guys, for joining. We've released the SLS GT3 showcase yesterday. Next week is time for the monthly Q&A, which will be the February Q&A on the 18th of February, which is Thursday. So I will post a thread to Katie Play with a bunch of, and you will be able to send a bunch of your questions, and we will pick 5 that we are gonna award with a carbon fiber pack, and the rest will be questions that we'll pick as well and try to answer with myself and John and Tim. And then we will have a nice discussion for about an hour and a half during that Q&A live stream. So I will see you in the next live stream next week, guys. For now, goodbye and have a great weekend. It was Dimitri, community manager here on Top Drives. I'll see you next week.